Good afternoon and welcome to the finals of the last Sportiva British Bouldering Championships here in Sheffield. And I'm once again joined by all-round legend Robbie Phillips and the man that invented the deep flag, Mr. Neil Gresham.
Thanks for the welcome, Gaz.
Cheers,
excited
Gaz.
to be here.
Well, thanks very much for bringing the weather down from Scotland. We've got a little bit of sun and a little bit of cloud.
From Scotland, man, it could rain any minute now, but it's maybe a blessing in disguise because with a bit of cloud, maybe that'll cover up the sun. We did see some bad conditions earlier. It was a bit humid, a bit hot, maybe on those slopers, not as good friction.
Yeah, we definitely did see some of that in the semi-finals earlier.
Wow.
Neil?
I was right up above one of the women's problems that had these really sloping volumes, and there were some climbers who I expected to do this problem who just didn't manage it. They were really slipping off. In fact, it was only Holly Tootle who managed this particular problem. They were definitely struggling with that.
I mean, it's always a challenge in these competitions, obviously with skin and temperature. Obviously now the climbers have done a qualification yesterday and semi-finals this morning. They've already done a lot of climbing. Their skin are definitely thin, and these holds on the finals are not easy holds to hold, so you know, it's going to become very important.
Sure.
Yeah, totally. It was really good to see some of the shock finalists coming into from the semi-finals. Guys like Matt Varelli-Christie, he went from 7th place to 4th.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's described as a shock finalist. Followed Matt since the start of his career, and like he's super talented physically, and he just needed to get a bit more experience. I always expected him to get in the finals of one of these events, and here he is now. Yeah,
and I guess we could say the same thing about Nat Berry. Like, that is really crazy. 19th position, now qualified for the finals in 1st place.
You see, I think that was tactics. I think she was holding back in the qualifiers deliberately.
And obviously, you know, we've got some surprise dropouts as well. Louis Parkinson and Tara Hayes. Okay, Tara's back from injury, but she just missed out in the final. Both climbers are in 9th place.
Yeah. Louis Parkinson, man, he must have the biggest fan base of any competitor here at the competition, for sure.
He's definitely a crowd pleaser, but he's a really good climber as well. And I mean, he was putting in some good performances. I was watching him and I figured that he'd definitely done enough and that he was going to make the cut. And that, I think, shows how high the standard is because he climbed super well. He still didn't make it.
Yeah, Louis Parkinson, Mr. Instagram, Captain Cutloose. Hold up, guys, though. Well, if you want to know your crimps from your slopers, your hand jams from your... who knows what we're going to get in this final, we shall see. But let's take a quick look at this VT and we're going to learn our holds.
Okay, so starting with different angled walls, slabs are when it's easy angled. It's almost like a steep hill that you have to walk up. You know, the weight's on your feet, but they're not easy. They require a lot of balance and really, really skilled footwork. Now, overhangs is when it tips over and leans towards you and all the weight is on your arms. You need a lot of strength to climb overhangs, strong shoulders, strong biceps, but you've got to have the right technique as well. You need to know how to twist in and what to do with your body.
Well, the beauty of being a route setter is you've got lots and lots of holds to choose from. One of the nastiest and most challenging holds is the crimp. You really have to put a lot of force over there and curl your thumb over your finger to be able to pull on these holds. Obviously today, like we've already mentioned, the conditions become super important when it comes to hanging on a sloper. It's all about friction, and if your skin is thin and your skin is sweaty, then you're going to really struggle to hold those slopey holds. Pinching, this is my sort of forte. I think I really like a tooth pinch, but we see a few pinches on these problems where you really have to involve the thumb and crush it as hard as you can. And obviously everybody's favourite, it's usually the hold at the top or the hold at the start. It's actually a jug. So this is the one that most people, regardless of their level of climbing ability, can actually hang off. I think even you can hang off one of them.
Oh, I can just about manage a jug, I think.
Now, you might be able to hold the holds, but you got to be able to do the moves. And the dyno has to be one of the most challenging moves. It involves an all points off jump to the next hand hold, from one hold to the next. You're going to be seeing that in the finals. Then, of course, the coordination move is very specific to modern competition-style boulder problems. Especially this competition, you're going to see a lot of that. It's basically almost like a run and jump move, where you're kind of like doing multiple moves simultaneously. Lots of risk in that. And then, of course, the rock over, very basic. We see that on rock and on plastic. It's a transfer of weight over your foot to get more weight off the hands.
Well, obviously that sort of terminology does cross over into all the disciplines. We're only working on one discipline here today, it's bouldering, but obviously when we're coming into the Olympics 2020, August next year, it's a tri-discipline competition. We have speed, we have lead, and we have boulder.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually, and quite a contentious topic at the moment. The combined format means that we're going to be doing speed, boulder and lead simultaneously. They're going to be ranked on all three for a single medal. And what that means is that they're going to have to rank that as high as they can on all of them, and then those ranks are going to be multiplied together for their top rank. So for example, came first in speed, second in boulder, third in lead, it'll be 1 times 2 times 3. Don't ask me what that is in maths.
I'm not going to ask you to do the maths live on the BBC. No, we'll leave that. But that's going to make it really hard for climbers to actually train and focus, because they're focusing on 3 disciplines that are very, very different.
For sure. I mean, they're more familiar with the lead and the bouldering, no doubt. I think the vast majority were just like, speed, what's that? How do we train for it? And of course, not only did they not know the methodology, but a lot of them are concerned about injury. They're using their muscles really fast in a really different way. And I think it's going to be a test of who are the most professional and who've got the best coaching teams, that they're going to have to embrace all 3 disciplines and coordinate that.
Yeah, and definitely, I think, me personally, being at the climbing walls, seeing the younger crowd coming through, I'm seeing all those young guys. They're definitely going for speed, boulder, and lead. You know, they're training really effectively in that, and I think that the future is bright. And not only from the young crowd, but also existing GBT members like Will Bosey, Shauna Coxey, who are out there doing it right now. They're multidiscipline athletes. Will Bosey is obviously more of a boulder, more of a speed climber, but he's like performing really well on the speed as well. Shauna Coxey, predominantly a boulderer. She's holding her own in lead, and she's now trying to hold her own in speed as well.
Well, it's very interesting there, because these climbers have only really just started adapting to these disciplines. I mean, Shauna's really only started to put in some time into the speed climbing, and now owns the British record already. So the youngsters that are coming into the game, understanding that it is an Olympic sport, and in 2024 hopefully we will be going to Paris as well, they're training it from a really, really young age, which obviously has a big impact in their performance, and they will basically be very, very good at 10 years old.
It makes sense, because like the best climber is going to be the fastest, the strongest, and the fittest, and it makes, to me, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, and who knows how it'll go in the future, whether they'll separate them, you know, off the back of the hopeful success of this first event.
It's looking likely that in Paris, you know, 2024, it's going to.
Well, it's not going to be easy to win gold at the Olympics, that's for sure. But I think with Will and Shauna and who knows who else, there is definitely a possibility out there. Well, obviously, we've got the format of the bouldering competition on today. This is identical to the format that we're going to see in the Olympics in 2020. So let's take a look at how it's going to work.
So here we are in isolation. This is where all the climbers are held before they go out and compete in the finals. This is so that you're unable to watch each other compete. They go out and what we call on-site climb the boulders. This is where we do the warm-up. I'm going to have a little warm-up myself. Time to go climbing. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to climb female qualifier 2, and I'm going to show you how to start it, how to get the zone, and how to get the top. So the start is signified by 2 stripes for feet, 2 stripes for hands. The zone is with a red stripe, and finishing hold with a yellow stripe at the top as well. So I'm going to start with the 2 hands, left foot, right foot, big move to the zone, and then another big move up with the left hand, right hand, one more, big move to the finishing hold. I've got to get 2 hands on the finishing hold to get to the top, and that's how you climb a boulder problem.
Well, as you can see, we are just watching the finalists leave the mat. They have just been out observing the boulders. 4 boulders for men, 4 boulders for women. We had a little look at those earlier on. Robbie, what did you think? How did you fancy your chances?
Oh man, they look hard. There are lots of big slopers, lots of dynamic movements, lots of coordination moves. Man, I wouldn't be fancying my chances on those, to be honest. How about you guys?
Well, what about left-hand side, men's 2, the one with...
Oh, the one with the hand crack?
Maybe, yeah. It's got a bit of a hand crack in there. We might be okay on one of the moves. I don't know about the whole problem, but the first move looks pretty wild as well.
Yeah,
somehow getting left to right. How's that possible?
I have no idea, guys. With a lot of challenge and effort, I think they're going to be very challenging boulder problems anyway.
So we're just looking through the athletes in the final. We've got Maximilian Milne, Max the Future. Dave Barron's qualified in first place. The old guard, Matt Valeri Christie. What a fantastic performance by him. It's the first time in a British final. Jim Pope, he's been strong for a very long time, and I think we've got some money riding on Jim for possibly taking this down. We shall see. Billy Riddle climbed very, very well in that qualification and semi-final, topped that slab with ease. But obviously Nathan Phillips, who climbed in the World Championship final, finished 6th place. I think he's up for it.
Got Imogen Horrocks, who's a bit of a surprise entrant into finals. You know, she's not made a finals before in BBCs. Got Hannah Smith, she was in the finals last year. She's only 17 years old. She's been doing absolutely phenomenal this competition. Jen Wood, you know, she's a local girl, Sheffield based. She's a stand-up, great comp climber. We expect to see her here. Rosalind Fruitnut, a bit of an all-rounder, and again, last year she was in the finals too. Holly Tootle, we saw her coming into the semi-finals in first place. She just missed the spot in first place, but second is just as good. And then Natalie Berry in first place. As I said earlier, she went from 19th to first place, which is absolutely incredible.
So this is, we're looking down through the door in the wall, down through and into isolation, where the climbers are going to come from. It looks like we've got the first climbers coming out on the mat. It's Maximilian
and Imogen Horrocks.
Well, we've got a good crowd out there. It's been building for the last hour or so.
It's bustling, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, you can see the sun on some of the spectators. The climbers are thankfully in the shade, and they begin their final of this La Sportiva British Bouldering Championships.
See this
on
boulder,
the right-hand side of the wall.
This boulder problem that Max is about to get on, I really want to know how this is done. And I heard the route setter, I heard Percy Bishan actually say it didn't have a sequence. So it's just a bunch of really bad volumes that have got a little bit of friction on them. And yeah, there's not much sequence to it, he said.
So very interesting, these volumes. So if you take a closer look, you can see that the white part of the volume is with texture, and the black part of the volume is what we call no texture. So that is very smooth.
That was a bit of a slip there that Max had. I don't think he expected that.
No, I mean, the competitors have got to be quite careful with these boulders. They've both got towels to stand on. The actual mat, the safety mat there, is plastic top, so it does hold dust. The dust doesn't dive down into a carpet, so they bring their own little piece of carpet to clean their feet. It's all about the relationship between the stickiness of the rubber and the friction on the volumes. And the cleaner their boots, the better they will work.
And Max has also got some super soft rubber boots as well, which will be making it even better. The softer the rubber, the stickier that he's going to be able to, stickier the shoes really. And he's like sticking to these very flat, slopey volumes, but it doesn't seem to be working well for him.
Yeah, it's a strange set of problems to start on. You come out sometimes and it's a powerful boulder and you can be a little bit aggressive and get into it, because usually behind in isolation you're getting quite psyched. You know, you've done some really hard pulls just to finish off your warm-up and you're quite motivated to go out and pull down on some holds, and you come out and you've got to walk along some slopey volumes, and suddenly you've got to bring your heart rate back down and your focus has got to change completely.
That's a really interesting point as well, and also worth mentioning, we've seen like the warm-up areas in isolation generally aren't, you know, great, you know, practice for these more dynamic, more techy volume style boulder problems that you're going to get in the competition. There's just kind of like lots of holes in the wall, so they're going to be able to warm up the fingers and their shoulders and their upper body really well, but maybe not so much for the coordination that they're going to need for the final boulder problems.
And the beauty about coordination style of boulders is they take quite a few goes to actually get into the flow.
They are high risk, aren't they?
Build the confidence, high risk. Route setters love them nowadays because it allows us to actually split the field.
You see Imogen Horrocks here on her boulder 1. He's really struggling getting into that double sort of like semicircle volumes put together, and then they come together and they make a crack in the middle, and I think that crack obviously looks like you can take it as a side pull, but I'm guessing that it might be a cheeky little hand jam in there, which I think many of the competitors won't know how to do.
Well, we shall see. Well, when we went out and looked at these boulders, I saw the discussion about this foothold that Imogen's standing on with the right foot. They switched it from a slightly better foothold to a worse one now, so they actually made the problem a little bit harder here. Before it was big enough for both feet, you could swap feet on it. Then you could do this movement up off the left foot to that hold that Imogen just took. So Imogen did get the zone there. You can see on the right-hand boulder that red stripe against that pair of semicircle holds together. There is a red stripe there, and that is the zone hold. So she got that. You can see already how many goes these climbers have had on these boulders. Imogen's on 8 goes already, Max 5 goes. Max hasn't really progressed past this initial couple of moves.
Oh, he's really struggling there with his feet. He looks like he's getting pretty frustrated.
Yeah, he's called it a day there. Obviously, it's a long, long way to go. You've got to keep your head up if you have a very disappointing boulder at the start of the event. You've got another 3 boulders to come, and those boulders might be the ones for you.
The next competitors are already up. We've got Hannah Smith on the right.
And for the men, it's Dave Barons.
The Don. The Terminator.
Possibly the most experienced person in this competition at the moment. He has been competing for a very long time. I've done quite a lot of World Cups with Dave over the years.
I think we counted 92 international events.
92 international events, yeah. That's quite a lot. So that doesn't include the 17 British Boulder Championships that he's done and many other national standard events that we have here in the UK. So very, very experienced climber, Dave.
And having similar problems with the start of this boulder problem as Max Milne. Didn't quite get that one there. Bit of slip.
This is another, the men's boulder on the left-hand side is a set by a slab specialist. Max set this boulder as well. He is renowned for his slab technique, impeccable style.
Last year, Hannah Smith came 4th in this competition, and so this is like really awesome that she's made the finals again. She's only 17 years old. This year she was also British lead climbing champion and British youth boulder champion, so quite the all-rounder when it comes to indoor climbing competitions.
So like Robbie mentioned before, this slab boulder for the men really doesn't have any method. There's nothing from that left hand on top of that volume, just pushing underneath. Dave making good progress now, and then, oh, sorry Dave, bit of commentator's curse again there.
You're always doing that, guys.
Yeah, I know. it's like we've almost got this rigged.
And Hannah's still struggling on her boulder as well.
It's good to see Hannah back in this final though again after last year. I mean, getting consistent with performances becomes really important.
Yeah.
And obviously mentally, if you know that you're starting to do really well in the comps, it can just make that difference from actually getting in the finals and starting winning them.
Yeah.
The confidence is as important as the strength.
I've actually also personally seen like her level like come miles in the last year. Sometimes I climb with her at the bouldering wall, and I think about a year ago I could do some of the boulder problems that she could do, and these days she's just like outperforming me on like the really sort of comp stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the amazing things we see about these young climbers, that we see them come through the youth events, and you know, we see them sort of from 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then they disappear for a year. We don't see them, they come back and they're absolute animals.
Yeah.
They just turn into climbing machines.
Yeah, totally. You see, both Hannah Smith and Dave Barons have had 5 attempts, although Hannah has the bonus. You can tell she's had the bonus because the little green bar underneath the 5, underneath the number, shows that she got the bonus.
Dave on the zone now. This is looking very, very good.
This match looks really tricky, but he did it. Brilliant.
Yeah, we thought that match was going to be a tough one, but Dave managed it very easily. We had one of the route setters out earlier on with his car body filler, actually filling screw holes in on those volumes.
Because screw holes is just too good a hold, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That shows how bad these volumes are, is that the competitors are looking for the screw holes to try and put the finger in to pull on it. How ridiculous is that? So local girl on the right hand side, climbing in front of her home crowd, Jennifer Wood.
And on the left, we've got Matt Varela Christie, who is half Scottish, half Colombian, lives in London. Bit of a wacky accent as well.
But he's always got an impeccable haircut.
That is true. Mr. L'Oreal.
See what he makes of this very tough little first boulder for the men. Good start for Matt, and then the foot just goes.
Again, Gaz.
Yeah, I could just ruin some people's day. Sorry, Matt.
Jen's looking very pensive before she steps on. She's really trying to figure this one out. She's got plenty of time, 3 minutes left. And she's off.
Quite a nice angle this for this first boulder for the women. You can see how slopey that first volume is.
See the way she lifted her left leg at the back there? That was a nice little flag just to keep her in balance.
Neil Gresham taught her everything she knows. This is quite quick. Oh, it was good for Jen. She was very, very close there. She made faster progress.
I did have a look at that foothold earlier. It is really slopey, very poor. Yeah, it's a bit of luck involved in that one, keeping your foot on that.
Matt VC, as we call him, he's back on. He's the tallest competitor in this final. Still struggling to keep those feet on.
This is Matt's first time in a final, actually, for the BBCs.
In the BBC final, yeah, this is his first time. Yeah,
last year he was 12th.
Yeah. Interestingly, though, he has beaten Nathan in a couple of finals in the last few years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Blockfest?
In Red Spider climbing. Birthday
so he has the potential.
Party, so he definitely has the potential. Nathan is obviously going extremely well at the moment. He's been very solid through this competition. First place into the semi-final and first place into the final. So it's a big ask to take the title out of his hands. Jen's
just made a phenomenal top there in her boulder problem. Her 4th attempt. She'll be very happy with that.
That was nice and fast for Jen.
Do you think that the style between the British Bouldering Championships and more those regional climbing competitions that Matt's done really well, you know, where he's beaten Nathan, do you reckon that has an effect on it? Do you reckon the style would be different?
In the past, there was definitely a difference in style, but now I think even the very small regional competitions that are just a single wall and they operate in a relatively small region. They are now putting on events that are equal to national and international events. These holds that you see here, you will see them all around the country nowadays at almost all climbing walls, and you'll see them on all levels of boulder problems as well. Even as a beginner, you can go in and be challenged on some of these slabbier volume, smeary problems, maybe with a few handholds, but you will be climbing in the style of block a little bit.
Matt's not enjoying that first section of the boulder. I think he's just given up. He's only got 10 seconds left anyway.
Yeah. Quick look back over his shoulder.
He's having a good time anyway, so. But the brushes are given a good brush before the next competitors come out. And now we have Jim Pope.
Jim Pope for the men. And Imogen.
It's Rosalind
Fruitneat.
Yeah.
For the ladies. See what Jim Pope can do with this men's number 1.
Jim is Mr. Biff, which means that he is exceptionally good without his feet. However, I don't think that you can do this without your feet. So he'll have to figure out how to use his feet on this one, which I think he's more than capable of doing.
Yeah, Jim's been around, for, he's still quite a young guy, but he has been around for a very long time. And he's super experienced already. He's been competing internationally for quite a while. He's been doing senior lead events. And he is a bit of an all-rounder. He's been climbing on gritstone quite a lot the last year or two in the north of England, and he's been actually doing some quite hard and dangerous routes as well. So, you know, he's a pretty well-rounded climber.
Yeah. I've actually known Jim since he was probably about 9 years old when he was doing the youth climbing series. It's like the regional competitions in the UK.
Nice little toe hook there with that right foot to keep his force going through that smear.
Yep. He was always very small, so he had to figure out ways of doing climbs that, you know, he had to just figure out a different way to everyone else because he was so small. And I think that's really done him a lot of good in the long run.
Yeah, this is very good by Jim. Quite fast progress now. We've seen this problem done already. Problem climbed by Dave Barons.
Those are very poor holds, but they've got quite good friction on the white surface. The black is very slippy. And this match looks quite tricky, I think. Dave Barons did seem to make it look quite easy, but Jim's taking his time. But he's managed it. It's another great top there.
Very good performance there by Jim Pope.
Good start for his finals.
Rosalind Fruitney still ongoing. She has another 1 minute 46 seconds to see what she can do on her first boulder.
Rosalind's really struggling on this coordination move. She keeps on kind of going too far on that, the momentum just pulling her off. I just remember seeing, I think it was Jen Wood, she threw her left leg up as her right foot hit the black volume on the right, and that caused her to stay in balance, whereas Rosalind's going for kind of a couple of steps onto that right volume. I think that is just sending her right off.
Usually with this style of boulder though, this coordination, you keep trying something slightly different.
Yeah.
Trying to mix it up a little bit, and you're always learning, and sometimes it's a case of slowing it right down, not actually going that quick.
And she just didn't get a chance to even do the move there. And that's the 1 minute buzzer there. So she's only got 1 minute left. There's not a lot of time, possibly enough time for a couple more good goes.
I mean, really, we can only see that Rosalind is going to be able to get the zone on this boulder with the amount of time remaining. We shall see. One more go, I think, Rosalind. Come on, I think the crowd's wanting her to do this boulder.
So close.
Very close.
I feel like really invested in her attempts here. It's like, I'm feeling for her. Come on, Rosalind, you can do it.
That was so much closer.
But that was the left leg flagging up the way.
And this is one of the great things about these boulders and bouldering in general and climbing is very, very hard to read. It just looks like you do the foot swap and put the right foot onto the wall to stop the spin. Whereas that left leg out in the air, an air flag as we might call it, looks like it's a very good solution.
I know. And it's such a hard thing to see before you actually get on the problem, which is why these climbs are so hard to flash.
A lot of it comes down to feeling at the end of the day. You just get on and you just go with the flow.
Yep.
New climbers out on the mats though. On the left hand side we've got Billy Rydell
and Holly Tuttle on the right. Holly qualified in first place into the semis, and she's in the finals qualified in second place. She's also, I think, the youngest competitor in, oh no, she's matched with Hannah Smith. She was 17 years old.
Looks good start by Billy. He's not slipped off yet. Billy did very well on the slab boulder in the semi-final. Jump his way up into this final position. The foot blows.
I think his right foot there was a bit too high on the volume. Maybe if it was a bit further down, he'd be able to get more of his weight onto the volume, and there would be less of a chance of it slipping off.
Speaking to the route setters about this men's number one, they were saying there's basically no sequence to it. There is no foot sequence. There's a million footholds there, all in one volume.
They're just all very poor.
So for those of you that are watching that don't really understand too much about what's going on here, so the start of the boulder is marked by 4 stripes. That is 4 points of contact. You can see a single stripe on the left hand side, so his left hand has gone on there, and 3 points of contact on this right cluster of volumes, and then he can go and try and climb the boulder. Up and right you see a red stripe. That is the zone hold. That is his first aim. Following that, he will be trying to get to the top.
And his foot just popped off there again. He's giving it a talking to, that volume.
It can be very frustrating. This is the sort of thing you can go to sleep at night and have nightmares about, eh?
You just need to give that volume a good talking to.
That and your foot.
Yeah.
You need to stay there.
Stay. he's giving his foot a wee brush.
Yeah, he'll be talking to his foot at the same time. You can tell he's grinning about that. He can hear us.
And Holly Tuttle, she's still at work on her boulder problem. She's trying to make this move work, and she went for the same thing that Rosalind was going for there. Her feet were kind of like padding along the black volume on the right. But I did see her using the left flag up in the air at one point, but she was quite stretched out. She's a bit shorter than Rosalind, so I don't know. Who knows if that sequence will work for her?
I think that the hold that she's catching there is really quite poor, and as soon as when you do the foot swap, your centre of gravity seems to go rightwards underneath the hold, and there's nothing to pull out on.
Yeah.
But if you stick the leg back up in the air, it keeps the centre of gravity back left, so the hold is a bit more of a side pull. Let's see what she chooses to do this time. That's the 1 minute buzzer.
She's trying to like open that thing, like lift doors.
Get the elevator doors going on, yeah.
I think the right hand one's way worse than the left hand. Or I'm not sure, maybe it's the same actually.
Oh, I can't remember. They're both pretty poor.
They're very poor holds.
Yeah.
That flag's working. Brilliant.
Yeah, great to see her execute that flag this time. That seems to be the foot sequence. Very, very hard to read that move.
She's got 19 seconds on the clock, so she really needs to move now. It's not like these moves are that easy to do fast either. Very delicate moves. Oh, she's held it. She's held the zone. So she's got that up. That's moved her up in the score. Oh, and she just missed that little crimp. Those two holds stuck together and make it very hard to catch. If there wasn't that hold on the other side of it, it would have been a bit easier.
So you could see over on the left-hand side, we have provisional ranking. In the men's, it's Pope sitting at the top of the table. I'm sure Nathan Phillips will try and have something to say about that. And we saw Holly jump up into 3rd place when she got that zone.
And speaking of Nathan Phillips, he's up now actually with Natalie Berry on the right. Both of these guys are the qualified in 1st place, and Nathan is the reigning British champion. And even he is struggling with this boulder problem.
Nathan is definitely very good at this style of boulder as well. He's very good on his feet when I've been setting with him on some of the slabbier boulders, so it does go to show it is not easy out there, even if you are reigning British champion like Nathan is. This is looking a little bit better now from Nathan.
He's looking pretty steady up there, looking quite controlled. So what's really impressive about Nathan is just how controlled he looks when he's competing.
Especially on this, there is really no holds.
Yeah.
So he's got the zone, and in order to get given the zone, he needs to control it, which he's done. You saw that pop up on the top left-hand corner of the screen. Now we've already had 2 people to the top of this boulder. Dave Barons, Jim Pope. Nobody fell off after this point. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and not mention the possibility.
Yeah. Don't say a thing, guys.
One hand.
Oh, he's going for the match now. He just needs to make that match, and then he's topped it. He's looking pretty solid though. Oh, and he's got it. That's another top. He looked relieved with that one. That was pretty quick. That was his second attempt. That was, I think that's quicker than the others, so
Yeah,
that puts him into
definitely.
first place.
2.5 minutes left on this first boulder. The British Bouldering Championships finals. Natalie Berry.
I mean, Natalie's left leg's not really doing anything. It's kind of staying the same height as her right. So there's not really anything to counterbalance that momentum falling rightwards.
She's quite a tall climber, Natalie, isn't she?
So, I mean, in theory, she could do a lot with that left leg. She's got such long limbs. As the counterbalance. She's looking pretty perplexed in this. Yep, still struggling. Can't quite make it. But she's gone for the Alex Waterhouse effect and having some like really colourful pants on, leggings on, which I think Alex Waterhouse would say gives them extra powers.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that about Natalie this weekend. She's very bright in the clothing department.
Oh, looked like a little toe there under the volume. Might have held her on.
Still time though. She's not managed to locate the zone, so
She's had 11 attempts so far. That's a lot of attempts. If she tops it, doesn't matter. Natalie actually has 8 British titles to her name. She's been competing for a very long time. And it's only really in the last sort of 2 years that she's decided to focus more on bouldering. And after like quite a long hiatus out of competitions completely.
yeah, she's very, very experienced. Competed a lot as a youngster, and it's really good to see her come back into the sport in such a good way, and see her in this final.
Yeah. I think that Nat's strength is definitely like the more static, more controlled, strength orientated boulder problems, and this just doesn't play to her strength at all.
Yeah, she gives it a little smile there and turns away. I think probably says in her head, I've had enough of this one, let's move on.
Yeah.
Time for boulder number 2. So moving swiftly on, that's everybody through boulder number 1. We can see the rankings on the left-hand side of the screen there. Phillips sitting at the top, Pope in second, Barons, Rydell, Matt Varela, Christie, and Maximilian Milne.
And then for the women, we've got Wood, Smith, Toothill, Horrocks, Berry, and Fritney, with only Jen Wood topping that boulder problem.
3 tops on the men's.
1 on the
Phillips, Pope,
women's.
and Barons. Is that going to be our podium in another 3 boulders' time? But I think we have a lot more climbing to come, obviously. We are moving swiftly on to boulder number 2.
And we've got Max Milne back out and
Imogen Horrocks. Imogen wearing number 6. We had a look at these boulders again earlier. Every boulder in this final is actually super interesting. This left-hand side on these amazingly beautiful moon-shaped holds. Really wide starts for Imogen on this right-hand boulder, but both quite complex and quite hard to read what you actually do.
there's a tiny little edge at the sort of bottom of oh no, that's quite a good hold. Then there's the next hold's got a tiny little edge at the bottom of it, and the rest of it's pretty bad actually.
Yeah,
Very poor.
these next couple of volumes, this one has a very, very low angled edge to it, more friction than hold.
And then the next hold that she's going for, I think it's quite poor, but it's on the volume, so it's just like a thumb sprag. You can just get a little bit out of.
It's quite awkward to move the feet up here, but Imogen is making good progress, and then she's off again, another slip. Interestingly here, she's not climbing with a towel to clean her feet. Maybe that's something she should
Got her team
learn
of
and
brushers.
consider for the future.
She's got her team of brushers working furiously to clean the holds.
It's great to see so many volunteers helping out at these sorts of events. Without all these volunteers, then these events would not be able to take place. Great way to experience climbing competition as well. Great way to experience the final by being in there with the brushing team.
For sure. I also noticed that's Pippa Watkin, who's one of the brushers. She was one of the competitors in the semi-finals.
Yeah, she did very well earlier on. Not quite well enough to get into this final. Over on the left-hand side, we can see a first glimpse, really, of Max on the start of men's at Boulder number 2. Those 2 holes that are now being brushed are just little thumbs. You just push your thumb up into a small hole. Didn't look very nice. Imogen making good progress again. She's already been to this point. There's a foot slip that made her fall down. But this time she will be able to get a little bit more force through this left foot on the volume. Bumps the left hand up. This is the hold that's hidden under the volume.
Yes, she's got the thumb.
The fingers are on nothing. That is pure smooth. One hand, 2 hands. Good top there for Imogen.
That second attempt, she'll be very happy with that. That's put her in a good, strong position. Yeah, we were talking about this boulder problem earlier, weren't we, guys? Trying to figure out exactly how you do it. If it's a jump or the splits. I mean, Max just went for a jump there, but that little right-hand hold, kind of down right off the moon-shaped orange volume.
That's what we were thinking about jumping into with the right hand, but Max
well,
actually
you were thinking
went.
about that.
Yeah, I was just making stuff up. But Max actually went to jump and put the left hand onto the palm, onto the wall behind him. But this wall doesn't have any texture to it. It's quite smooth. Let's see what he tries this time.
Oh, super close.
It looks like he might have to lean over forwards a little bit to get the weight over the foot rather than stand up too straight.
That first crescent is actually all right, but the second one is very poor. Like it's a big foothold, but it's going to be hard to get much friction on it when you're coming down and it's so hard, and then your momentum, your body position just changes suddenly. But that was pretty good there. It looked like he had it solid for a little bit, palming his left hand backwards. It definitely looked like that would work, and that would stick if he could make it work. Oh, that was so close. Question is, what would he have done if he'd had both his feet on one volume and both his hands on the other? I don't know what he would have done there. Stranded.
Get marooned, yeah. Here's a man that exhumes experience.
Mr. Barons.
These are a lot of the climbers in this final are actually route setters. Are they all route setters?
Yeah.
Jim Pope has set routes, yeah,
Max
he is also a setter. Max
regularly.
sets a lot. Dave Barron's a regular setter. Matt VC is a regular setter. Billy, regular, and Nathan Phillips. These are all people that actually do what makes these boulders. They make it for a living on other climbing walls. So their understanding of movement can be very advanced, which gives the route setter for these national events a much bigger challenge.
I think that being a route setter, as you said, kind of gives you that like intrinsic understanding of position of holds and body positions and moving on the wall, which can really, really help for when you're competing under pressure. Oh, that was very close by Dave Barons there. Almost held it. He actually dived for that little 2-finger pocket on the right there. Didn't quite get it and fell backwards onto the wall and almost managed to hold it. But didn't quite.
So just out of shot, we did hear the crowd give a round of applause, and that was Anna Smith topping.
Dave Barnes going for the double thumb sprag there. He's just eyeing up this next move. Ah, just off. The balance there, it's really hard to find that balance, especially when you're moving so fast and so dynamically. It's such a fine level, like a fine point to just get that balance to hold you in position. Really, these sorts of moves are very high risk. Route setters love them because they're very easy to fall off. But when you know how to do it, when you've sort of when you've mastered the movement, they're actually not that hard. I'm sure if Dave Barron's had this problem at his local wall and he practiced it, he'd be able to repeat it any time in the day. Whoa! Flexibility. This was the question, can he get out of this now? Or is he stranded?
Looking pretty cool and collected still.
Oh! Almost had that pocket.
That almost went back to the foothold he just jumped off as well. I wonder if that'll change his sequence up. He's only got around 50 seconds left on the clock though. Definitely time for another go on this boulder. Standing on the heel there on that right foot.
I think if anything, just getting that zone hold will give Dave Barron's a sort of really good push for the rest of the competition. So I think just wants to get that zone hold there. Oh. And he wasn't given that because he didn't get the zone hold in control. He got it, but he was falling off at the same time.
Quite a lot of times you'll see competitors having goes in the last few seconds in this round because there is a big gap there. He's got the zone.
And he wasn't given the zone either.
No, you see, he didn't stop on that zone hold there. Oh,
he was given
He has been given it, yes.
Yeah.
So that's bumped Dave up into provisional first place after his second boulder. Matt BC is quite a tall climber, so this move across might suit him well. I'm not too sure about the move after the zone. We shall see.
We've got Jen Wood here on her boulder 2. Remember we just saw Imogen Hartz get the top. Hannah Smith also got the top. So Jen, she'll want to get to the top. Jen's making good use of that side foot left. At this point here, we saw Imogen fall off and she didn't quite get, and her foot slipped off here. So if you can get just enough, oh, she came off as well.
Opting for a slightly different method on these two holds. Just putting 2 fingers in before we've seen the climbers use their thumbs. Taking control of the brush himself, brushing the rubber off the bottom of that volume. To brush these very, very small holds here. You can see he switches the brush around and uses a smaller brush to get in there. It's that small. It's the size of a finger, those little upside down horseshoe holds. Finger or thumb, that's about it really. But still he's choosing not to use a rag to clean his shoes.
Got his little thumb in there, just pressing upwards. I think that Matt there, he's much taller than the other guys. I think he's struggling to get stood up onto that, possibly because of his height. It's a disadvantage in on this boulder problem.
Yeah, I think that's some clever setting sometimes from route setters. They can set a reachy move on one section of a climb and then set a move that actually suits a slightly smaller climber. So they're not really playing into anybody's favour. It's a real mixed bag that everybody gets, fairly equal.
Jen Wood's on her 3rd attempt on this boulder. She's already had the zone, so she just needs a top, and that'll push her up the rankings.
She doesn't seem to have seen this extra bump up with the left hand to the second part of the undercut. She might have seen it now.
Yep,
that's better.
This is where she came off last time. She just needs to keep it together, catch this next thumb sprag hold, which she's looked pretty solid doing. And she just needs to reach up and match, and she's done it. It's a good top by Jen Wood.
Her home crowd very appreciative of that top.
They've got 1 minute left on the clock now. So Matt is going to have to move along here. Doesn't have long left.
I think one of the important things about this part of the event, it's still quite early on. Obviously, if Matt doesn't really get anywhere on this boulder, there are still 2 more boulders to come. You know, they have to keep their heads up, the competitors, and go into the 2nd, 3rd, 4th boulder, all with their heads held high. It's still there to be won.
That was an interesting way he grabbed those 2 holds together, sort of pinching them together. Actually had like one finger on one hold and his thumb on the other, but I think he's given up on it now. So the brushers come in to give the holds a wee clean before the next competitors come out.
We did see in Vale in the final World Cup where Adam Ondra was unable to top the final boulder, and it was topped by his fellow competitor, who then went on to take the title of the World Cup, and that was down to that last boulder in the last event of the season. So you need to keep trying right to the end. This man's a trier, Jim Pope. Always one for putting the effort in.
Yeah, he sure is.
His first move should suit him a little bit more.
It's kind of interesting seeing how like different people have tried to like kind of hold those little holds there. Dave Barron's going for the double thumbs. Jim's also gone for the double thumbs. Now it's a dynamic approach. Maybe Matt would have been able to reach this splits, but I don't think. Oh, I don't think Jim could do that. So he's went for the dynamic approach, similar to Max Milne. And Rosalind is looking really good on her flash attempt at this boulder.
Very solid there through that bump with the left hand. Didn't quite stand up on it, just stayed on that left foot, didn't readjust it. Lost a little bit of balance.
I think she started falling out, and by the time she moved her right hand up to catch the next hold, she was too far up from the wall, and she was already gone.
Jim back on, obviously looks really hard to stand up into this first movement with these thumbs. Really struggling to work out what to do with them. What finger do I put in? What fingers? What combo? Now he's gone the other way around with the hands. Interestingly, this was a boulder actually set by Ben West, who's the tallest setter on the team.
Oh!
Jim goes for the splits.
There's no excuses now. Jim's tall enough to do that. The rest of the competitors definitely are. He wants this zone. Looks like he's trying to crimp something on the wall there, of which there isn't anything that exists. Oh!
Went for broke there, went for the crack rather than the zone. Very hard though. Jim's quite a short climber, and obviously when he's got one foot on that left wall, one foot on the right wall, his feet are a long way apart. It's very hard to then generate any momentum.
Yeah.
His legs are very straight, so you saw him swing his arms a little bit and try and use his upper body to create the momentum across onto that right hand volume, but then chose to go straight for the next hold just out of shot and miss the zone out. Will that come back to bite him? Jim Pope onto his next attempt. Same sequence on the thumbs, little shuffle around. And I think he'll go a bit more controlled out into the drop now. That's looking a bit better, it looks nice and solid this time. Still got time on the clock to see him to the top. Rosalind doing well over on the right hand side of the screen as well.
He's looking like he's going for the pocket now. Oh, not quite.
It's only just a pocket though. It's like a bit of screw on paint type pocket.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
He wasn't given the zone on that one either. We saw the other competitors for Rosalind get here and top out, and she's done exactly the same.
4 climbers to the top of that women's number 2. A real spread of attempts though. A flash from Hannah Smith, one of the youngest climbers in this final of the British Bouldering Championships.
We only have 10 seconds left. Jim's given up on it, saving his energy for the next boulder. That's a tactical decision as well.
Next out then on this men's boulder, we've got one of the slightly taller men's competitors, Billy Rydell, wearing number 52.
And Holly Tuttle on the right.
Billy went for a slightly different start method there, and due to that dual texture, you've got the friction on the orange parts of the volume and no friction on the black part as well. Black, you can see the reflection of the sky in it. That smooth.
Billy's also really struggling to figure out how to hold these holds.
Yeah, he began with the toe, he's now flipped that foot, so he's standing on his heel as well on the volume. Seems to be the method.
You can really see the holds, like you can see the hold right there. It didn't have much of an in cut to it. It was very slopey, so it was not much. And most of your weight's are your feet just pushing up, and your thumbs are just keeping you in balance there. That's brilliant. I think he's the first climber to do this on his first go. So just put him in a good position. He can get this zone. He looks a bit more comfortable than Jim looked there. He's got a bit longer legs, you know, a bit more power to that left foot. Billy wants this. Oh, so close.
I think that's going to be another one of those moves that is very slow. Holly now, though, in cruise mode over on the right-hand side. Two hands, and she tops that boulder with a flash of women's number 2.
Billy had a thing on the chat to his feet there. Stay there, he says. Don't move.
You can see that he's that much taller than Pope on that move. He should stand higher up the volume on the left. A bit bigger foothold. Now he just needs to go nice and slow, I think, to catch this undercut. I think so slow that he's almost going to balance maybe on that right-hand volume.
I think he can do it this time. Yes.
This is now looking good from Billy Rydell as he makes progress into the crack.
He's the
above him.
The first climber to make this move. The first climber to get into the crack. Now this is the section of the climbing that I think is going to be really interesting. He's challenging it, like he's taking it like he's opening some elevator doors, and now he's taking it as a side pull. But he slipped.
What did he just do there? That was amazing. He managed to stay on there. He's just hanging on a side pull with a wrap at the top. Now he needs to go up to this little slot hold. The crowd are getting really behind Billy.
He was trying to
sigh throughout Devonshire Green in Sheffield.
I think he's going to have another go. He knows that he can do this now. He's been up there before. All he needs to do is keep it together for this last ditch attempt, and he could get up there again.
Yeah, he definitely has the measure of this boulder now, and obviously that attempt will have given him some confidence, but he will need to move quite quickly. This move is not a fast move though. It's got to be slow, calculated, and very accurate to hit this zone hold.
And this is the last go he can have. He's got it.
Solid.
He's back into the crack. He could gonna make this work for him now. He has his one chance. One moment. Just needs to keep it together. He's going for he's stuffing his foot in that little crack, it looks like. He's trying to get it up, but it's really hard to reach. His right foot is tiptoeing. He's got it in, he's got it in. Oh, so close. And that is time.
What a great attempt, that last attempt. Ran the clock right down, got very, very close to making some progress there, and we have one climber left on these last boulders.
Nat Berry.
Number 2, Nat Barry.
And Nathan Phillips.
I think we're both expecting a flash for Natalie.
Yes.
On ladies number 2. Nathan Phillips, well, who knows?
I think Nathan has the experience potentially to flash this boulder problem for sure, but as we've seen before from the other climbers, it's one of those problems that it kind of like it takes time to get used to the movement. But Nathan has proved that he has got the skill to do what other climbers can't do, you know. If he was the only climber to flash the slab in the semi-finals, that was a problem that a lot of very good climbers didn't actually manage. So a great way of keeping his head together in even the most stressful of situations. That is very elegantly done.
That's a committing move, that.
Yes.
You're not quite sure whether you're going to reach it, and if you do miss it, you're probably just going to land with your face on that volume.
Didn't even look like he went for the move, he just kind of let himself fall.
Yeah, confidence. Very confident climber there. You can see he's weighing up some different options. Decided to go slightly dynamic, but not enough. He didn't get the weight in the hips over that foot. He expected the hold to be a little bit better.
That's still on her flash attempt. She's grimacing a little bit there. That hand hold's not the best, but once she gets a layback off it, once she gets pushing more for her feet, it will feel better for her. She's right now in quite an awkward position. She just needs to push up with that left foot, and it should be feeling a lot better now. Yeah. And now all she has to do is get her left hand bumped up to the top of that, pull her feet up.
Really interesting watching Natalie on this boulder. It's like a slow motion replay.
Yes.
And you can really see all the individual movements she's making, attempting to make. This right foot will probably come off as she does this move. No, she's gone for a toe hook. That left foot back, doesn't quite know what to do.
And all the while her fingers are going to get more tired. She's sweating more in those little slopey hand holds. Getting hard to stay on.
She used a bit of energy on that attempt. She was on that boulder for a long time on that first attempt.
She has the endurance for it with such a history of route climbing.
Very low number of goes from these two last climbers on boulder number 2. The British Bouldering Championships here in Sheffield. Nathan Phillips is back on board. Been through this next move a few times already, easily into the bridge.
I think if he can stick this zone hold, I think we can expect some big things from Nathan. And he has it.
That was much better for Nathan. Jumps up into first place already. Let's see how far he can go on this boulder. The crowd are willing him up this.
He's
really
into the
wants to see
crack
a
now.
top.
He's into the crack and he's just crushing the sides of these, pulling them apart. He only has 10 seconds left. He needs to move quickly. He's laybacking it. He's in the position that Billy was in earlier. Oh, I think he knew that he didn't have it in him.
Well, he didn't get to the top of men's number 2. He will be disappointed, but the crowd really did appreciate that final attempt. That was his high point. He equaled Billy's high point as well. Both of them took the zone on that boulder. But Nathan stays at the top of the leaderboard. Dave Barron's second place, Jim Pope third. And we move swiftly on to boulder number 3.
We've got Max Milne back out with Imogen Horrocks. Max hasn't had the best luck in the last 2 boulder problems. Imogen, however, has topped one of the boulders.
Change of style now as well. We move more into the middle of this boulder wall here in Sheffield. As you can see, the angles are starting to get steeper. We've started on the outside edges where they're slabby, vertical, and then now
Slightly overhanging, a little bit more power.
I think this is much more Max's territory, if I'm honest. Max definitely comes into his own on big, powerful moves, on steep overhangs. He loves the slopers. He loves compression moves, where he's basically bear hugging between two massive slopers. He's got some strong shoulders on him. Imogen's got a cheeky little toe hook there on the right that's just holding her in position. That toe is going to allow her to move across onto that left hand hold. She tried to go for something a bit, sort of a quick, throwing her left foot over there, but it didn't quite work.
So here we are in isolation. This is where all the climbers are held.
Quite know what happened there. I was suddenly talking about isolation again. But now we're back with Max on Boulder number 3. Brusher working hard there to take that chalk off those holes. Obviously the chalk that the climbers are using is to stop the hands sweating. Very similar to gymnasts.
That was an interesting move there by Imogen. She tried to throw out to that foot, that hold out left with her left foot last time, and then now she tried to throw out to it with her left hand. A very different sequence that she tried there. Neither of them worked for her. Max is sort of speed climbing up this thing. He knows he can do it. He's got his left leg on nothing. He's just going to try and throw, but his right foot popped off. You gotta remember these slopers, they don't have much on them. They're just kind of like big, round, flat surfaces, a little bit of friction. But not
much closer by Imogen then. So we went back to that, throwing the left foot out and trying to land it on the volume.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier on, was how influenced the ability to hang on these volumes are with the conditions. It's quite overcast now and there's a little bit of a breeze going, so it's about as good as it's going to get.
Whoa, that was an interesting attempt there. Going right hand up for the high
That
slipper.
took everybody by surprise.
That's the 1 minute buzzer, so they're running out of time now. And Imogen's not looking any closer to this boulder problem. I'm really struggling with it. I must say I'm a wee bit surprised, Max, on this boulder problem. This is kind of his territory. That proves that it must be absolutely desperate. Another interesting attempt there. You can see the frustration in Max's face. He's looking around desperately for his chalk.
Where's the brush? Oh, where's
He
the
wants
chalk?
that one more shot. He's got 22 seconds left on the clock. He knows he can do it. He just needs to keep it together. He throws up for his right hand on that little crimp. You can see his thumb bearing down on his fingers. He's grabbed the sloper there. He's going to go for it. He's got it, but he doesn't manage to hold it.
This is a classic style. The route setter for this boulder is Jamie Cassidy. Jamie is the head setter for this event, and he is actually one of the most experienced and chief route setters in the world.
And Hannah Smith is just out now. She's got a lovely pink towel that she's laid down in front of the boulder.
And a massive smile on her face.
She's always smiling, always having a good time in comps.
That's good to see when people are actually out here enjoying themselves. That's what it's all about. If you're not enjoying it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. See what she can make of this boulder. That first move's big, isn't it, Robbie?
It is a shouldery move. I quite like that little toe hook under the volume. Just kind of holds you in when you're kind of losing the balance. That toe will keep you in, but she didn't quite make it work there.
Dave Barron's first attempt on boulder number 3. He likes this kind of style, does Dave?
Oh, that is solid.
This is looking good. One more move to the finishing hold.
Oh,
He caught that last hold and then slipped down it by like an inch.
That was almost a flash. Dave Barron's is guaranteed a 5th place right now. Hannah's setting herself up for another attempt. This move proved challenging to her last time, and it's proved challenging again.
So it's an interesting move, this, because she's focusing with the eyes out and left to that big side pull volume in the middle of the wall, and at the same time trying to catch the hold on the underside of that second volume of the row of 3 on the right hand side. She's going to catch that with a toe hook to stop her falling leftwards. She's not see her throwing the toe up, but she's not putting any strength through it.
It's really, those coordination moves are really hard, you know, to try and like catch a hold and, you know, catch a hold with your hand and also catch another hold with your foot at the same time.
It's hard enough sometimes looking at 2 hands, like that are quite in front of your face, never mind looking at one hand that's way out left and the foot
that's behind
which
you.
is way out right behind you.
Exactly.
Maybe an eye transplant will help. One eye to the front, one eye to the back. Dave Barron's back on though on this boulder number 3, looking strong again, more stable onto that.
He's not going to let this go now.
This is looking better from Dave. He's got a little bit more middle on that finishing hold, I think.
Oh, and again, that left hand, that final handhold must be terrible.
It really does look like he's going a little bit too on the right hand side, and then the hand's just making a tiny bit of a slip.
Yeah, I think it's
Not being able to
flatter in
hold
the
it.
middle.
Looks like it, yeah. I'll tell you later when I do that boulder myself.
Cool. Oh, she's gone for the static method. Well, she reached out, she got the left hand, but she wasn't able to control that momentum afterwards.
It's a big move out with that left hand. I think it's just taken her a few goes to get the shoulder warmed up to be able to press all the way out there.
Yeah.
The first couple of attempts it looked miles away for her, but now she looks a lot stronger on the move.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of warming up to the move.
Little
She's got a
twist
nice drop
with that
knee.
left
she must
knee,
have learned
yeah.
that from Neil Gresham.
Yeah.
Oh! Very nice. And this is looking good. We know that she'll get put into first place if she can top this now. She just needs to keep it together. Hannah's looking strong. She's looking good for it. I've just heard that
Hannah.
Dave Barons has managed to top as well. There's 6 seconds left. He's got 5 seconds. Oh, and Hannah's just dropped the final move. She will be very happy that she got the zone there, but not enough.
That must have been a
to top
great
it.
moment for the crowd. Obviously, we were just focusing on Hannah Smith on the screen, who just fell off the last move of her third boulder. In the meantime, in the background, Dave Barons was topping out on that third boulder. That's a great result for Dave there. Already bumped him straight up to the top of the leaderboard.
With 6 seconds to go as well.
Amazing.
That's
Here we go on the replay. Dave, 2 hands, very happy man.
That's how you climb under pressure. Now we've got Matt Varela Christie on men's boulder. And Jen Wood on the women's boulder. Oh, his foot popped there. Lapse of concentration maybe.
That's been struggling up till now in this final. That's his first zone he's secured. Bumped him up a few places. But really, if he's hoping for a podium, he really needs to get some tops on the scoreboard.
I've noticed that Matt definitely likes taking ownership of his brush, doesn't he? He doesn't let anyone brush the holds for him.
He's got the largest collection of brushes in his boulder bucket. It's amazing. Every size, every length. Yeah.
For every type of hold.
Exactly.
Cribs,
Yeah.
slopers,
He's a brush specialist.
Oh.
Jen Wood going for that toe hook option we've seen Hannah Smith try quite a few times, but then decided not to use. This is looking good by
He's stuck.
Matt BC. Just held that for a moment, the hold after the zone. Couldn't control it for long enough to stay there and do something with his feet.
Just had some intel in that it is not possible for Matt to place first anymore. The best possible rank he can get is second place, just in the way the tops and the zones have worked out so far in this finals. Jen's still trying to figure out that start boulder, that start move. She's having similar problems to Hannah. It's It's not an easy move, that's for sure.
Gives you managed to top this. The crowd now would go absolutely wild. It's a big crowd out there watching this final here in Sheffield.
It's absolutely massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. We've almost got people inside the tent here. There's that many people out there.
Yeah.
1:34 on the clock. Still plenty of time. Needs to nail this move out and left.
Well, she's trying something a little bit different. Putting that right foot there first, but I think it's going to work. Remember, we saw Hannah Smith do something really different. She kind of brought her feet out left and then threw her left foot up. And she didn't actually use that toe hook.
Yes. Sometimes you can get very focused on the idea of a way to do a move and then stick with it. You've got to try and mix it up, I think, a few times. Try some different ideas rather than just get railroaded into this toe hook, which...
A toe hook's almost like a little bit like a red herring, isn't it?
A black herring in this case.
Black herring, yeah.
You see Matt has just applied some liquid chalk, so that's chalk in alcohol. The alcohol evaporates off, actually cools the hands a little bit, and he's trying to speed up the process by blowing on his fingers there to dry that alcohol away. Jen back on, still trying with that toe hook, still not able to make it work.
Matt back on for his boulder, looking strong. The liquid chalk seems to be working for him, but he just kind of gave up there. Didn't look like he had a good handle on that right hand sloper. Only 17 seconds to go, so not really much time for a top anymore, but I think Jen would just want to try and get that zone. Just one last go, so 7 seconds.
These climbers must be getting tired now. They've done 3
I think Jen
boulders in the finals. Their skin must be very, very thin by now.
Yeah, indeed. We've got Jim Pope now.
I think Jim's got quite a good chance on this boulder.
Yeah.
It's his sort of style. Very strong, good contact strength.
Do you reckon a flash, possibly?
Maybe.
You do want to speak too soon. Especially not you.
Everything's possible. Everything is possible. There are no rules in this final as to how they actually climb these things. Jim has some very big biceps and a very strong pinch strength. And he's obviously Mr. Biff, so he's very good without his feet. There's not a lot of weight going through the feet on some of these volumes on this problem.
It's just kind of a lot of compression moves, isn't it?
Yeah, just squeezing.
We've just got some intel in as well that if Jim manages to top this boulder, that'll push him into second position. First he has to top it. Giving that left-hand sloper a good brush. It looks very chalked up. It's just a big bit of wind has just come through the tent and the arena. Maybe the conditions are getting a bit better now.
We shall see. Wind is a really important factor when it comes to friction.
Kills everything down. Jim looks really stretched out on that move out right. He looks like he's really digging deep in his left shoulder to make the reach.
We've not seen much of Rosalind on this boulder yet.
Well, she's had 3 attempts so far. And she's not got a zone yet either, so she's probably struggling on the same move.
Whoa. Trying some interesting method with a right heel hook, but then it ended up pulling that left foot off the starting foothold. She's down on the mat. She's going to clean her boots.
She was saying she was cold in isolation earlier, so I let her borrow my hoodie. So if I think she should owe her position in this comp to me, really.
Is that your pink hoodie that she's cleaning the feet on?
Yeah.
Right then, Jim, come on.
Come on, Jim.
See, this looks a really big move out to quite a poor hold. The next hold being the one with the red tape on, which is the zone hold.
Jim is going for a really kind of different sequence here. He's going for a right-hand crossover to that. Very different to what anybody else has done before.
He is
He's
trying a V15 was what he was trying. Rosalind Fruitney was looking very good then. Made good progress.
It's good that
Rosalind.
Yep, it's good that Rosalind's got that zone there. That's definitely going to push her up a little bit. Yeah, Jim Pope attempting that boulder problem with that sequence. I think he probably made it a lot harder than it needed to be. He's struggling with that more conventional sequence moving out right to that sloper, so I guess he just wanted to try and see something else that might work. It's worth a try, but I don't think he'll be trying it again. Rosalind's managed to get that heel hook around that that first foothold work, actually. It's really cool. We've not seen anyone else do that so far.
That's a very impressive method, that. Jim managed to make it to the zone that time, but that's it.
7 seconds to go.
For him.
I think that's done.
That boulder.
These boulders are really hard.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We can see at the minute a very small amount of green on the men's set of boulders, and not much more green on the ladies' set. But the boulder number 2, the easier boulder at the moment on this tour. Still a long way to go, though.
Now got Billy Rydell out and Holly Tuttle. Holly qualified in first into the semis and in second place for the finals. Only 17 years old. Billy Rydell having another chat to his feet. He's saying, what's going on with these feet? Feet are not working today.
There's quite a few ways to do this start, I think.
Whoa.
Maybe that's not one of them.
She was experimenting with some new type of climbing.
Levitation.
Yeah.
Billy had a bit of a wheel slip off this first move. The right foot just zipped off. You can see the 2 stripes. He's got to match the feet to make the start there. Billy's attempt is now underway. Billy's a little bit taller than Jim, so this move to the zone could be a bit easier.
He's looking strong there. Oh. I think that move from that right-hand sloper up that left is hard because those holds are very slopey, but also as soon as your body comes out from the wall, that momentum pushes you off. It changes the angle that your hand is grabbing those holds at, and you've got nothing to grab onto. You really need to stay close into the wall to maintain contact.
And watching this competition from this angle, very front onto these boulders, you don't really appreciate the overhang that these climbers are climbing on. These are very, very slopey holds, very bad. You can see a better angle now, better shot there. You can see the overhang on this wall.
It's about 30 degrees there, isn't it?
Yeah. Holly's making good progress now. She's located the zone.
Holly has managed to previously top boulder problems under pressure, and I think this one might be another. Come on, Holly.
Good.
Come on, Holly. Just one more move.
Oh, it's a second drop from the last move there. It's like Holly just tweaks it back a little bit there, but
she's just taking a little seat there. She's got 1 minute 45 seconds left on the clock. I think she knows she can do this problem now.
Yeah, she's got a lot of time now.
Billy needs to top this block for 3rd place. And this is his. But he's not liking that first move. He's going to take a wee break. Billy's given up on it. He's left.
Interesting decision with over 1 minute still on the clock. Billy has left the mat. I wonder if that is to conserve skin for the final boulder. Maybe.
We don't know how his skin must be right now, but I bet it's in pieces.
It's all over those black holes on that men's number 3.
Yep. Holly knows that she can top this boulder problem now. She just needs to keep it together. 50 seconds left. She knows she's not wasting too much energy on that first go. She just needs to keep it together now. See if she can make it work. I think she'll try again. Can we chalk up? One
Gonna
last
have to
go.
climb quick now with 30 seconds on the clock.
She stuck it. crossing the feet over. getting the
Solid.
left
This
foot
will
out.
be amazing if she moves up onto this zone in control.
20
She's already
seconds
been here
left.
once before. This is looking very good from Holly.
Promising. Oh, she's holding
on,
it.
Holly.
She's held it. Oh.
Didn't quite get that hand well enough. That was an amazing performance by Holly Tootill. And we have just been shown a picture of Billy Rydell's fingers. They don't look too good. They're looking very thin. One of the challenges these days in these types of events is maintaining skin throughout the length of the comp. Obviously, we have a lot of big, open, slopey holds that rely entirely on friction, and when you slide on them, you basically just remove a layer of the skin. Sometimes in the World Cups this year, we've seen quite a lot of bleeding fingertips. And
is there not a rule when the fingers bleed that you have to sort of forfeit? Is that right?
You have to tape them,
Okay.
and it's only if you are still then putting blood onto the climbing surface. But if you manage to tape them and stop the bleeding, then you can continue. The judge will need to check the fingers, and you can carry on climbing.
Yeah. Nat has managed this first move. Very controlled, very static. Just like Nat is used to. She's very strong in the static, strength-orientated moves. I think that she could flash this.
Got that left hand crimp, that is the zone. Currently sitting in 6th place, Natalie Barry. This would be really quite exciting if she can top this boulder. Really change things up a little bit. Really
That is
good
looking good.
control onto that last hold.
One
Big move.
Oh!
How
Just
did
held
she
that.
hold on to that? That was amazing.
What a flash.
So Natalie Berry there. Crowd got very excited. That was a flash of women's number 3.
I think if she had even the tiniest bit more momentum, she would have been off there. But
Here
she
we go
managed
with
to
the
hold it.
replay.
Look at
There we
that
go.
arc.
How did she stay on that hold?
Wow.
We will never know. But she did. She got a flash on Boulder number 3. It's bumped her right up, back into the game. 4th place for Natalie Berry at the moment. One more boulder to go.
Nathan Phillips having a moment, kneeling down on the mats, contemplating life, the universe and everything. Looks like he's about to go into meditation. He's cooling his hands out. He's willing his fingers to do the job that they need to do, which is stay on the wall.
Probably has a good idea that he needs to do this boulder.
He's very zen, isn't he?
Quite a quiet guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Really.
it. Back in the zone.
He wants a crowd behind him, that's for sure. This is looking good. Very strong, very solid. Just finding the right part on that right-hand sloper. He's going to flick for it. He's held it. He just has 2 more moves to go. Dave Barron struggled in his last move but managed to top it. Nathan needs to do the same thing. He's got it. Just at the edge of his reach. He just needs to match it. And he's done it! Wow. What a top. Second go.
Exciting times here in Sheffield. It's all going to come down to the last boulder and the battle between Dave Barons and Nathan Phillips for the title. Nathan Phillips takes the provisional lead at the moment. That is the end of the 3rd boulder. We have 1 more boulder problem left at this British Bouldering Championships in the final here in Sheffield.
This last boulder's looking pretty meaty as well. We looked at that one, remember?
Yeah,
Blue.
they don't get easier.
No.
So all the climbers now move onto the 2 boulders in the centre of this wall on the steepest overhang of the competition this afternoon.
think Max is pretty disappointed with his final so far. He's not managed to make any tops. He's made one zone. This does look like a Max style. Yep. He stuck that first move well. Whoa. Very impressive. This is totally Max's style. Whoa! That was incredible.
That was an incredible piece of climbing there. Very, very complex set of movements there, as you could see. That last movement looks like, as we talked about it, Robbie,
yeah,
where you
exactly.
have to flick up with the left hand and catch that toe hook to hold yourself on the finishing hold, and then you'll still need to get the match.
Another radical.
Horrocks through this jump as well.
Just as another radical move. These final boulders look amazing. Really funky.
I had a look at that little jump for the move that Imogen has just done, and it's quite round that corner. It's a long way round. It's quite blind as well.
This little, that right hand hold looks very slopey, but the one she's matched on, the white volume, is actually quite good. She just needs to step her left foot out there, find the position. That little left hand, it's got a good edge behind it, but this last move, it's quite goey. It's a good hold in the left. Oh! So close.
Exciting times here in Sheffield. Imogen Horrocks just drops the last move on the last boulder. Max has dropped the last move on the last boulder. This is getting hot. Looks like she might have tweaked herself a little bit, trying really hard. These climbers are tired now, coming into this final boulder. They'll be climbing very hard problems all weekend.
Max is asking the crowd to get behind him, which they are obliging with.
Let's see these movements again. That quick double catch. 1, 2, flick into the undercut. And then this is going to be an amazing movement, this.
Oh!
Wow.
Second go. Yes.
Max says, I want to hear that to the crowd. Obviously a very, very experienced crowd here in Sheffield. Meanwhile, Imogen Horrocks is back on the boulder. She's just done the jump, first move. It's this toe hook rollover. Goes with the right hand. Hard release.
Pinching.
Put the foot out onto the right hand side, onto the ball. She's all that climbing. She's still not at the zone yet.
She's got 1 minute left on the clock. She's got plenty of time to get this done.
This is looking good now.
Yes.
Much more controlled. Great top from Imogen. You could just see that right foot toe hook in that volume. Held her on, gave her a lot more control. 2 goes for Imogen there. Should have probably been a flash. But she's got a smile on her face. That's great to see.
Next up, we've got Hannah Smith with her pink towel. Dave Barons. It's all on this boulder problem. How Dave can climb this boulder problem, if he can climb it.
We've just seen it climbed by Max in 3 attempts. If Dave can lay a flash,
he'll put him in a very good position.
Down on this, it's going to pile the pressure on to Nathan Phillips. He will then have to come out and do it faster.
Faster than a flash.
Faster than a flash. He'll climb it in half a flash.
Well, if Dave Barnes flashes this, then Nathan Phillips has to flash it to win. But Dave has to flash it first. This is stressful, guys. I am stressed.
I need a chalk bag.
Same. My hands are so sweaty.
Come on, Dave.
Oh!
Long way between those 2 holes.
Anna's doing brilliant on her flash attempt so far. She's looking strong. Flicking her right foot out there. You can see Dave struggling in the background. He's had that second attempt. Hannah's made the zone now. That's bumped her up to second place ahead of Tootle. She's taking a wee rest there. Shaking out. She doesn't have a chalk bag, so she can't chalk up. Right hand sloper is not good. Oh, she didn't quite get balanced there. Dave has made the first move and the second move, and he's now up for the final move. This is the crazy move that Max showed us how it was done.
That is a really hard move, that.
Max made that move look so easy. It was like someone turned off the gravity and he just floated up there.
Yeah. That's a move we've seen quite a few times in the last few months in the route setting world. In normal setting, in the climbing walls, usually it's performed lower on the boulder problem, but to actually put it at the top of the boulder problem on the final boulder of a British Championships takes some guts. Max Ayrton, the route setter on that boulder problem, he has pulled an absolute corker out of the bag with this final dynamic boulder.
Hannah not getting enough power there in that first move. Just under 2 minutes left on the clock. Still plenty of time. Dave's definitely a lot more static on there.
Took him a few attempts to get out to that position, but now he's looking very strong through it. But this is the move. The left leg kick.
Oh.
Very close for Dave then. Made contact with the toe hook, didn't seem to quite make contact with the finishing hold with the left hand. He's still got plenty of time. It's the last boulder.
Anna's really struggling now on that move. She managed it so easily on her flash attempt, and she's now piling the attempts on.
It's quite interesting seeing it from the camera's point of view here. It doesn't look very far to that hold around the left-hand side of that triangle, but when you're standing there, it's a little bit blind, and it's a very long way. Both climbers back on the wall. 1 minute remaining. This could be Dave's last chance, really. He must be getting tired now.
Dave wants this.
He's got time for one more attempt. Just over 40 seconds remaining. It's a fast bowl, but this last one for the men. Ladies one is a little bit slower to climb through.
They're going to want to go all the way to the end for this. They've got no boulder problems after this to climb, so they need to make this one count. 28 seconds left. I think this is the last attempt. Look at Dave's guns. He's a very strong guy. This is his last attempt, his last chance. He's got to make it work. And it didn't happen for him. That is it. That is Dave Barron's competition over.
Says thank you to the crowd. You can see with that camera shot what a fantastic crowd there is out there.
Dave Barron is provisionally in first place, ahead of Nathan Phillips. But now it's all for Nathan Phillips to take away if he can top this boulder.
Jem Wood then through that jump pretty easily. Matt Valeri Christie as well, looking good. Going for the last move. Oh, he's going for a different technique there. Didn't seem to work too well. Now he's seen what he needs to do. I think it is a dynamic movement. Catch the toe, catch the handhold.
I don't think Matt read that quite correctly. He was trying to do a lot more static, trying to throw the toe up rather than the toe and the hand at the same time. It's a very committing move, very risky to do, but it looks like the only way to really do that move.
It's a 100% move. You've got to put everything into it. Catch the toe, catch the hand at the same time, and you'll stay there, match the hold, like Maximilian Milne did to pull out that third attempt to the top of that boulder. Very impressive.
I'll be honest, guys, it doesn't really look like the sort of move that you would normally see in, well, you should see in climbing, more like Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, it's definitely quite a dynamic boulder, that.
Jen's the only climber to have topped block 1 So if she tops this, this is going to give her a really strong position.
Yeah, if she tops this, that will give her 3 tops in this competition, put her
Into first place.
ahead and up into first place.
Matt's back up in that move. He can't quite make the combination of the toe hook and the grabbing the final hold and the compression between the two. Can't quite make that work from.
If Jen gets the zone on this boulder, that will bump her up above Imogen as well, I think. Need to check where she has number of attempts to zone.
Got just over a minute on the clock, minute 10. Still plenty of time for Jen to get up this problem. Really willing her to do this, because it'd be amazing to see. Amazing if she could get 3 tops. Just in the background there, Matt's going for another attempt. Not enough though. Jen is really struggling here. Oh no. She missed that foothold the first time. That might have cost her a bit of energy, a bit of shoulder strength. She thinks she wants to take a little break there. She's not quite sure how to hold that sloper. She's got the zone, which is good. She's got the crimp. She's set up for the last move now. She just needs to keep it together. She just needs to grab this last hold, and she's in a very strong position. She'll be in first place. Oh! 10 seconds ago, there's not enough time. That is it. That was so close for Jen Wood there, but not enough. She doesn't look happy with that. It is a game of margins in this competition. Sometimes you're literally inches away from winning, and just like the smallest mistake can cost you. And now we've got Jim Pope and Rosalind Fruitney out. Be interesting to see how Rosalind gets on with this boulder prob. She's not like the dynamic coordination moves so much. Jim coming really close to flashing that, but not quite. He got the zone on his first go.
Bumped in straight up into that 3rd place.
Good place to be.
Will put him a little bit higher.
Jim's also taking ownership of the brush. He knows that he can brush that hold better than anyone else. He put his time in whilst he was a youngster, brushing for Senior British Bouldering Championships. Now he's a skilled brusher. Now he's a competitor.
Very skilled competitor.
He still handles his brush really well. Oh, he's held it. Fantastic. Second top on this boulder problem. How many goes was that actually?
Great performance that by Jim. That's just cemented his position there on the podium.
3rd place.
In 3rd place. Now it will come down to Mr. Phillips. Can he do enough to leapfrog Barons and take his 2nd consecutive title?
1 minute 50 seconds on the clock. Rosalind's taking her time here, chalking up. She knows if she can stick this dynamic move the rest of the climbing, although it's hard, I think it's more her style. I think she realizes that too. Still a minute 15 left. Doing some skincare there. She's getting some tape out. She might be a little bit cut on her finger. She's trying to cover the flapper, cover the cut. After so many boulder problems, so many hard boulder problems, the climber's skin, it's really, really thin, really hard. It's really hard to get any grip because you're sweating so much. Such small layers, so few layers of skin on your fingertips.
"30 seconds left on the clock now. She's definitely got enough time to get back up there to secure a zone. Definitely looking tired now. She's lost all the bounce. That's it. Look at that crowd out there. Amazing. Four more climbers left to climb.
So
for the men, Billy Rydell, Nathan Phillips. And for the ladies, Natalie Barry, Holly Tootill. Holly and Billy out on the mat first.
Billy's best possible rank now is 4th place after Jim's phenomenal climb on that final boulder in his second attempt. So there's really nothing Billy can do here to get any higher than that. He will be, if he can top this, he'll get 4th place. If Holly can top this, she's guaranteed 1st place. So this is the stressful moment, whether or not she can top this. And she's looking good so far.
This is everything for Holly now.
She's looking very strong in this position. This is the moment.
Moves up the leaderboard there into 3rd place with that zone, and now goes to the top with the left hand and the match. What an awesome performance from this young and extremely talented climber. Probably doesn't quite realise what she has just achieved.
Yep. Holly is officially 1st place. That is her. She is the British champion now. Nothing anyone else can do anymore.
Meanwhile, still the action continues on the men's 4th boulder. Billy attempting that toe hook catch and catch the finishing hold.
Still plenty of time left, 2 minutes 20 seconds for Billy. So he's taking a chill, letting the girls brush the holds.
All eyes on Billy. Big crowd out there. No pressure, lad.
Billy's just moving his hands back and forth. He's trying to dry out his fingertips. Those are very sloppy holds. Give his feet a wee brush on the rug before he starts to. Okay, this is going to be a good attempt from Billy. He's fresh, he's psyched, he wants this. He wants to top this boulder prop. He knows how it's done. Oh, this is something different. Can he make it work? Nope.
Back on the mat. Always good to keep your options open though. Try something new.
So very limited time left. 1 minute 5 seconds.
Still 2 more climbers left to climb. Nathan Phillips, Natalie Berry.
Billy's going to have to move now. This is his last, probably his last attempt. 40 seconds left on the clock now. The rug just started up the problem with him as well. This is it. Come on, Billy. He's going to go for the conventional method. I think he is. Oh, he's going for something different, a high heel hook. No, he's got 20 seconds left. I think he's giving up on that. That's it.
I think that's it. We're going to say goodbye to Billy Rydell. It's been an excellent competition for him. He's got very strong at times in this final, but couldn't quite make the moves to work up that leaderboard. Sitting in 5th place now. We've got 2 more climbers to come. These are the final climbers of this British Bouldering Championships here in Sheffield City Centre. Big crowd at Devonshire Green wanting to see some magic from this man, Nathan Phillips.
This is the moment, isn't it? The moment of truth. Seeing what Nathan Phillips will do. Setting himself up for the zone. Oh! Didn't quite hold it there. But he's been awarded a zone and he's now in 1st place. That's Nathan, he's been bumped up to 1st place. So
he won't really know that, I don't think. He won't really know what the sketch is. He will just be focused on trying to climb up this boulder. He wants to climb to the top. The crowd wants him to climb to the top. I think we'd like him to get up there as well. Be a great finish to this competition, but as we've seen, it's a very hard boulder problem, this. This right hand is really a really wide pinch and very low friction. But that's a bit better from Nathan this time. Now he's seen this move, he knows what he's got to do. Got to be dynamic.
Oh!
Very, very close there. As for the brushes, 3 brushes at once on this boulder.
Natalie's still working out on this women's boulder problem.
Natalie's getting a bit of endurance training in, I think.
Yep.
Ready for a roots trip. Into the zone though there. Natalie just feeling around on that hold. It's not a very good hold at all. Just holding it right on the lip. Very small edge. Into this tiny, tiny side pull, little undercut.
She's good on the crimp. She's locking it off. Oh, she's casual there. One more move for a top. She doesn't like that right hand. She's eyeing it up. Oh, so
that
close.
is the most dynamic we've seen her move all day.
Yeah.
She needs to move a little bit quicker if she can get there again. She's got enough time though, 1:30 on the clock.
If she can top this boulder, I think that'll push her up into 2nd place. But she has to top it. And she's got limited time left, 1 minute 20 on the clock. Nathan Phillips, on the other hand, is still plugging away at men's problem.
One minute left here in Sheffield. Come on, Nathan Phillips. We want to see a top here on this final boulder.
Yes!
One hand,
and
two
held
hands.
it.
Amazing. What a fantastic finish there. Truly dominant through the whole of the competition. Nathan Phillips takes the British title for the 2nd time running. What a performance.
That is incredible. Natalie's still working away on her boulder. She just managed to stick the move. She's got 35 seconds left. Not a lot of time, but enough to top out. We saw her almost get to that last, almost stick that last move. She didn't quite last time, just missed it. But she knows that she can do it. She's moving a lot faster this time. She knows that the clock is timing out. She's only got a limited amount of time, 15 seconds left. Will it be enough time? She's got the 2nd last, so she's got the penultimate hole. She just needs one more move. This is for 2nd place. She missed it. Oh, so close. That was an incredible performance by Natalie Berry there. And that concludes all the climbers. What a competition. That is an incredible competition. All the spectators having a great time. Fantastic to see Nathan Phillips and Dave Barons having a chat now. It's cool, after the competition's over, they can chill out, they can relax, they can talk about what happened. Nathan and Dave obviously very happy with how they performed. Dave Barons just missing out, Nathan Phillips taking the lead, Jim Pope in a close 3rd place. That's the podium, and then followed closely by Max Milne in 4th, Billy Rydell in 5th, and Matt Varela Christie in 6th. Holly Tootle took the win in the women's, followed by Imogen Horrocks. Okay, now we're going to go through to Gaz Parry, who is going to be doing an interview with Holly Tootle.
Finish to that final. Holly, are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know how I was going to go at the top of that one, but it was good fun.
And you've been very, very strong all weekend. I mean, you just seem to be getting better and better. And what do you think you can achieve in the next 365 days?
Just keep getting stronger, I guess. Seems to be going all right at the minute. It's not too bad.
And are you training in a certain style at the moment, in a certain way? Are you training fingerboarding or endurance or just boulder problems?
Bit of everything, just all thrown in there. See how it works out.
Well, I mean, amazing this weekend. Very good performance through the whole event, and congratulations. That was absolutely fantastic performance. Thank you for joining us, Holly.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well done. Thank you. Back to the studio.
That was Gaz there with Holly Tootle, winner of the women's category. You see the spectators out there. There's a lot of them. It's been an exciting day today. People have travelled from all over to watch this event. It's been a beautiful day, sunny all day. I think I might have got a bit of a sunburn, to be honest. Yeah, you can't really ask for a better day than today for this competition. The conditions were good. It wasn't too hot on the wall. A little bit hot during the early afternoon on the semi-finals, but it definitely cooled down a bit later on in the day for the finals. We're just waiting now for the podium to get set up, and we'll be doing the podium and the medal handing out very shortly. And possibly also an interview with Nathan Phillips, if Gaz can find him. I'm seeing all the competitors now who are in the finals hugging each other, talking about the event. Everyone's smiling. It's really good to see. Okay, so that's the final results back here again. So, as I said before, we had Nathan Phillips with 3 tops and a first place. Dave Barons very close in the second with 2 tops. Jim Pope with 2 tops as well in third place. Max Milne with 1 top in fourth. And then Billy Rydell and Matt Varela Christie leading up to the end in fifth and sixth place with no tops. Then we have Holly Tootle in first place with 2 tops. Imogen Horrocks in second place with 2 tops. Jen Wood in third place, also 2 tops. Hannah Smith, fourth place with 1 top. Natalie Berry in fifth place with 1 top. And Rosalind Fruitney in sixth place with 1 top. And now Gaz has found Nathan Phillips. We're going to go back to him, and he's going to do an interview with the champion.
It took a little while to find you. Have you been celebrating already around the back of the climbing wall?
Chased by doping control, you know.
You've been being chased by doping control. Obviously, being an Olympic sport nowadays, then this is what actually happens. So yeah, we've had to lose you a little bit. So all sorted there?
Yeah, I'll go and do that as soon as I'm finished doing the interview. Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations. I mean, that was an amazing performance. You were very, very solid throughout the whole of the competition. First in the qualifier, first in the semi-final, and first in the final to retain the title.
Yeah, I'm really happy with my performance. I think I climbed really well throughout all the rounds, and it's nice to finish it off in front of this great crowd in Sheffield.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic weekend, and the temps have played in everybody's favour, really. It's been quite nice for the climbers. There's a bit of wind and some cool temperatures for a change.
Yeah, it's been really nice. I think yesterday was actually a bit hotter, even though it rained in the morning, and it's been nice today. Yeah.
And a fantastic crowd. They were giving you a cheer, and you gave them what they wanted to see on that last boulder. You finished the event with a top. It's fantastic.
Yeah, glad I could do that for them and for me, for the win as well.
And what's next then?
For now, I'm just in training mode again for World Champs in August. So just be hitting the gym, doing loads of training work to build up to that.
Cool. Well, I hope the training goes well and you stay injury free, and we look forward to following you in August. Thanks very much. British champion. Well done. Right then, back to the studio, and hopefully we're going to see the podium in a few minutes' time.
Thanks very much, Gaz. And as Gaz said, we are going to be seeing the podium very soon.
Took a little while to find Nathan there. He was being chased around the the isolation by doping control.
Thought that might be happening.
That's where he's gone again. Here we are with the podium. So in third place, we've got local girl Jen Wood. Great performance there by her.
It's great to see second place Imogen Horrocks, and just giving a hug to Jen Wood. Everyone's such friendly competition here, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And the young and extremely talented Holly Tutel takes the top step. I think she was as surprised as anybody. We all knew what was going on, but it doesn't really seem to have hit her too much yet. Now, now she's got some smiles.
Yeah. Very deserving victory for Holly there.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies.
That's the ladies' podium for you. Big congratulations to Holly Tutel once again for taking that title at 17 years old. We've got a lot to come from her in the future. What a performance. Next up, we're going to bring the men's podium. Probably still trying to find Nathan again. He's probably run off to the with his little white bottle.
That is coming to the ground. Neil Gresham.
Neil Gresham looks like he's attempting some of the boulder problems. Or attempting to down climb them.
Jim Pope's just waiting for his moment to come back out onto the...
He's just watching Neil.
that look on Jim's face there was actually him wondering what Neil was up to.
You guys wouldn't have seen that, but Neil Gresham was clambering along the roof trying to fix the La Sportiva banner.
I think we're just going to move on and get on with this podium. It's Jim Pope taking third place. What a great performance for such a talented, strong, all-round athlete.
Yes.
Three-time Stormer champion in climbing this time, Dave Barons.
And second place to Dave Barons, the Don, the most experienced guy here. This is his 16th British Bouldering Championships.
I think he'll be pretty happy with second place there. But the man to take the top step is Nathan Phillips yet again. He retains the title and he takes the gold medal with a fantastic performance there, finishing off that last boulder in style. Really pleasing the crowd here in city centre Sheffield.
Good to see such a strong group of guys. Any of them could have won it. Nathan held it out though.
Well, I think it's been a fantastic event here in Sheffield. The organisers have put on a fantastic show. The route setting team, the weather has held off. We've had some great conditions today. We had a little bit of rain yesterday morning, but all in all, it's been absolutely amazing. The crowd has been fantastic. It is the climbing centre of the United Kingdom here in Sheffield. I don't think we could have had much better events, hey, Robbie?
No, not really. I think it's been absolutely amazing, man. I mean, I've had a great time. Climbers have had a great time. Spectators have had a great time. Also, massive thanks to all the volunteers who've put such an enormous amount of work into it.
Exactly. Well, I'd like to say a big thank you to Robbie Phillips as well and Neil Gresham for joining me, Gaz Parry on the camera, and hopefully we will see you again in Edinburgh for the European Championships in a few months' time. Thank you very much for watching. It's goodbye from us.